Hello everyone, it's me Sanjay Vasu back again for another video. This time I'll be doing it on Cambridge IGCSE Mathematics Paper 4, which is the calculator paper for exams from 2025 Specimen Paper B. You're allowed to use a scientific calculator where you can. And also give decimal values which are non-recurring and non-exact to 3 significant figures and 1 decimal place for angles. So let's start. Question 1. Find the reciprocal of 0.35. That's just going to be 1 by 0.35, which makes 20 by 7. And that'll be our answer. Question 2. Calculate 4 squared minus 1.9 by 3.2 minus 2.6. 4 squared is 16, and 16 minus 1.9 is just 14.1. And divide by 3.2 minus 2.6, 0.6. You can use a calculator and do this, and here we go. We get 23.5 as our final answer. Now to question 3. Naveen and Esther share some money in the ratio Naveen is to Esther is 5:7. A. Find Naveen's share as a percentage of the total money. Well, the total is 5 plus 7, which is 12 parts. And this money is shared in 12 parts, so Naveen gets 5 parts out of them. So 5 by 12 and multiplied by 100% for a percentage. And you can do this with a calculator. 5 by 12 times 100, which is 41.7%. Now for part B, find Esther's share as a percentage of Naveen's share. Well, Esther's share will be 7 by 12 times 100%. That is 7 divided by 12 times 100%, 58.3%. And as a percentage of Naveen's share, we just do 58.333 divided by 41.666, which is what we rounded off to 41.7. But when we divide this here, we will get 1.4, and multiply by 100% is 140%. And that'll be our answer. By the way, many of you might have realized that you can do this in one step using this information instead of using 2 separate steps to find this percentage and then find 140. We have Esther's share as a ratio of Naveen's share. So we can just do this Esther, which is 7, by Naveen, which is 5, and multiply this by 100%, which is actually 140%, and that is a much shorter way to do it. But either way you do, you'll get the answer as 140, and that'll be our answer. Let's go to part C. Part C, Naveen's share is $160. Work out Esther's share. Well, we know the percentage of Naveen's share is Esther's share, 140%. So 140% times 160 is just 140 by 100 times 160. And doing that, we get $224. That's our answer. Now we can go to question 4. A. Simplify 5x squared minus 7x plus 6x minus x squared. We can group the 5x squared and x squared together, and then we can group the 6x minus 7x together. Now these are called grouping like terms because they have the same term here, which is x squared, and the same term x, just the coefficients are different. And that'll be 4x squared minus x. Now for part 2, 4x by 3y divided by 2a by 9y. That's basically 4x by 3y times, we can flip the fraction, 9y by 2a. And 9y and 3y, the y's will cancel. And 9 by 3 is just 3 over here. And then 4 by 2 is 2. So 2x, and the a in the bottom remains. So that's simply going to be 6x by a. That's the answer. Part B, solve 5 times 3 minus 2x equals 17. Well, that basically means we can expand the brackets. 15 minus 10x equals 17. So negative 10x is going to be 17 minus 15, which is 2. X is 2 divided by minus 10, which is minus 0.2, and that'll be our answer. Question 5. The diagram shows a trapezium ABEF joined to a square BCDE. ABC is a straight line, and AB is 7 centimeters. AF is to BE is 3 is to 2. So that's not the length, but then that is the ratio of the lengths. The area of the square is 32 centimeters squared. Calculate the area of the trapezium. Well, if the area of the square is 32 centimeters squared, which is basically side squared. So we can find the length S. So S is just one of the sides of the square. S is just the square root of 32, which you can write as 4 root 2 centimeters. So S is equal to 4 root 2 centimeters is the same over here, over here, over here. Now, how do we find this side length? Because we have the smaller side length of the trapezium, we need the larger one, and we have the height of the trapezium here. Well, we know this ratio over here, AF is to BE equals 3 is to 2. So that means AF divided by BE is also simply 3 by 2. That's what we know from the ratio. And BE is equal to 4 root 2. So AF by 4 root 2 is equal to 3 by 2. And AF is just going to be 3 by 2 times 4 root 2. And this 4 by 2 will be 2. So 3 times 2 is 6. And we have the square root 2 there. So 6 root 2 centimeters. So we have this is 6 root 2 centimeters. And we can find the area of the trapezium now. Trapezium area is just going to be half times A plus B times H. And in this case, A plus B is just shorter side length plus longer side length. And those two sides are the parallel sides, which you have to take as A and B. So 6 root 2 plus 4 root 2 is 10 root 2. And that's A plus B. So half times 10 root 2 times 8 H, which is 7. And that's 35 root 2 centimeters squared. So you can write it as 35 root 2, or you can write it as a value like this, 49.5 to 3 significant figures. And well, that'll be our answer. Let's go to question 6. Write 0.0473 in standard form. Well, we need to make this number by moving the decimal point to some amount as a number between 1 and 10. So it should be between 1 and 10, but it should not be equal to 10. So in other words, if this number is x, we need to make x as 1 less than or equal to x less than 10. And that's how you write standard form. So if you move the decimal point once, we will still be at 0.473 if you move it once to the right. But when we move it twice to the right, we'll get to 4.73. And because this is moved twice to the right, you have to multiply it by something which will bring it back twice to the left. So if you move it twice to the right to get 4.73, we have to move it twice to the left to bring it back to the proper number, which is given here. And twice to the left means 10 to the power of minus 2. This 2 over here shows that we move it twice, and the negative shows that we move the decimal point left of this number. And that'll be our answer. Question 7, A. Talia invests $1,500 in a savings account for 4 years. The account pays simple interest at a rate of 2.1/6% per year. Calculate the total interest she receives at the end of 4 years. Well, the simple interest formula we can use to directly solve this. So we have the principal amount, which is 1,500, plus the number of years or months or days. In this case, we have to use years, so 4 times the percentage of simple interest, 2.1/6, and you can write that as an improper fraction, 13/6, divided by 100 times the principal amount. And this is simple interest, so we just do this and get our answer. 13 divided by 6 divided by 100 times 1,500 times 4 plus 1,500 to get 1630. But then we need to find out the total interest that she receives, not the total amount of money. So the interest is equal to this value minus the original amount, which is $130. And that'll be our answer. Let's go to part B. Kylian invests $1,500 in a different savings account. The account pays compound interest at the rate of R% per year. At the end of 5 years, the value is $1,825. Calculate the value of R. Well, in this case, we can use the compound interest formula, which is, in this case, we know it's $1,825. And that's going to be 1,500, which is the principal amount, times 1 plus R by 100, whole thing to the power of n. And in this case, n is the number of years, which is 5. So that means we can bring 1,500 to the other side. 1 plus R by 100 to the power of 5 is equal to, let's do this on the calculator, 1825 divided by 1,500, which is 1.216, which is recurring actually, is just 1.216 with the dot on top. You can write that. So 1 plus R by 100 is just going to be the fifth root of this. So we can take this to the root of 5, and that's 1.040002 dot dot dot. And R by 100 is going to be 0.04 followed by these digits here, because you subtract 1, and R will be, when we subtract 1 and multiply by 100, 4.000, and that's basically going to be 4% or 4.00% to 3 significant figures, and that'll be our answer. Let's go to question 8. On a map, the distance between two cities is 7.3 centimeters. The actual distance is 365 kilometers. The scale of this map is 1:n. Find the value of n. 365 kilometers is just multiplied by 1,000 to get meters and multiply by another 100 to get centimeters. So this is the value in centimeters, and on the map it's 7.3. So the scale of the map is going to be 7.3 is to 36,500,000. And now we can divide both sides by 7.3, and we'll get 1:n, and this n value we can do as 365 followed by 5 zeros divided by 7.3 to get 5 million. And that will be our answer. So n is equal to 5 million. Let's go to part B. The diagram shows the positions of towns A, B, and C, which are given here. The bearing of A from B is 070. Find the bearing of B from A, that's part 1. So bearing of A from B, so we go from B to A. This bearing from the north line we draw clockwise is 070. And the bearing of B from A, which means we go from the north line from A clockwise until we hit the line AB. So it's this angle over here. And this angle, bearing of B from A, is going to be always 070 plus 180, which is 250. That's our answer. And if this value was greater than 180, then we just subtract 180 to get the bearing of B from A. So whatever it is, if the value is less than 180, we add 180. If the value is greater than 180, then we subtract. Now let's go to part 2. The bearing of C from A is 195 degrees, and angle BCA is equal to 113 degrees. The bearing of C from A, by the way, is just this angle here, clockwise from A all the way till AC. Find the bearing of C from B, which is this whole thing here. So this angle is 113, this bearing is 195, and we know the whole bearing over here is 250. So we can find this angle. Angle BAC is just going to be equal to 250 minus 195, which is 55 degrees over here. So that's 55, and now we can find angle ABC. It is 180 minus 113 minus 55, because angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. And that makes 12 degrees. So this is 12. And the bearing of C from B, so this over here is going to be equal to 070 plus 12 degrees, which is 082. Remember to write bearings in 3 digits, so 082 you have to include the 0 at the front, and well, that will be our answer. This over here is the whole bearing. Let's go to question 9. P is the point 4, 10 and Q is the point -8, 5. Find the coordinates of the midpoint of PQ. Simplest way to do this is to just use the formula for a midpoint, which is, let's take this as x1, y1, and this will be x2, y2. So the midpoint formula is just x1 plus x2 by 2, y1 plus y2 by 2. We take the average of the first x values and then the y values, and that's the midpoint. So that'll be 4 minus 8 by 2, 10 plus 5 by 2. And that's simply going to be minus 2, 7.5, and that'll be our answer. Question 10. The test scores of 13 pupils are recorded. We have the values here. A. Find the median. Notice that these are already in ascending order, so the median will just be the middle value. The easiest way to find this without making mistakes is just cancel from the front and back. So one from the front, one from the back, and keep doing that until we get to the middle. Over here, we have one value in the middle, so that's just the median, 34. B. Find the interquartile range. Let's just erase these marks. Well, the interquartile range over here is basically the third quartile minus the first quartile. And how do you find that? So we know the median is 34. So let's cancel this out. Now we have two halves here. So in the first half, we need to find the middle value here. And that will be the first quartile. So we just do the same cancellation method, but now we have two values in the middle. And therefore, the quartile 1 is just going to be the average of these two values. So Q1 is going to be 23 plus 24 by 2, which is equal to 23.5. That's the lower quartile. Now for the upper quartile, we do the same cancellation here. We get 40 and 42. So the upper quartile, which is Q3, we get 40 plus 42 by 2, which is 41. So now interquartile range is just 41 minus 23.5, which makes 17.5, and that'll be our answer. Let's go to question 11.